Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. In today's video we are talking about another variety of Philodendron. I'll put the name on the screen because it's a little difficult to pronounce the name. So you can see it is a very beautiful foliage plant. If I'm going to talk about the soil requirements, the soil has to be loose, porous, and it should maintain slight moisture, should be little organic rich. I have already made a video on how to make the soil mix for foliage plants. I will put the link in the description below. You can check it out. You can prepare the same type of soil mix and it's going to work out really well. Now initially the plant was not doing well, as you know. I was away because of that. A lot of the plants were dried, but this is now starting up to put out new leaf. So this is the first new leaf that has come up. Actually this is the second one. This was the first leaf, but unfortunately my dog happened to scratch on the leaf. And there are some dust particles on it. So I usually just take a brush and clean off all the dust from the leaves. It's very important because otherwise it is going to block the leaves from doing the photosynthesis and they won't be able to prepare the food. So it's always better to clean the dust off the leaves. And at times you might have dry leaves like this. It's always better to cut them off. Because these leaves are almost dead, but they will still try to take the energy from the plant. So it's always better to take off such leaves so that they do not, so that the plant does not waste any energy on them. But pretty beautiful succulent. You can see the foliage is extremely beautiful. There are few more varieties in philodendrons. I will make videos as and when I have those plants. Watering, you have to ensure that the soil is slightly moist. When you tend to see that the upper layer, at least 1 to 2 inches of upper layer of the soil is dry, you can go ahead and water it. Please do not expose this plant to direct sunlight. Keep it in indirect bright light. If you're going to keep it in direct sunlight, especially afternoon, then the leaves will get burnt. As you can see, there were some burns on the leaves and they will have this yellow spot if they are exposed to afternoon or even for that matter strong sunlight. Probably morning 1 hour sunlight is okay, which is very mild, but if you're going to keep it in indirect bright light, that is going to work out really well. Fertilizers, I would say do it once in 3 weeks or once a month. Give a diluted liquid fertilizer, or if you already have compost in the soil, it is going to work out really well. I personally tend to use compost water or the liquid fertilizer which comes out from the compost. You have already seen the video, and I use that probably once in 3 weeks or once a month, and you can see the plant is doing extremely well. There is a new growth that is also coming up, and remember, this is the identification of philodendrons. Every philodendron has this growth that tends to come out. Whenever there is a new growth, it first has this protective layer and then it tends to dry up as and when the plant starts to grow. This is one of the identification of philodendron. Every philodendrons have this excess growth, but then it tends to dry out as and when the growth starts. So it's an extremely easy to grow succulent. If you want to add it in your collection, you can definitely add it. It is a little bit more active during summers. It tends, when the climate gets warm, it has more growth compared to winters. But remember guys, during summers do not add a lot of fertilizers. Try to keep it on a low level because it's already very warm. Adding of fertilizers is going to generate more heat in the soil. So keep it very minimum. Probably you can do it once a month or once in 2 months during the summer period. And during the monsoon season, you do not need to add much fertilizers. Just give it rainwater and it's going to work out really well. So that's all about it. I haven't seen much pest attack on these plants, but in case if you happen to see, always check the undertone of the leaves, underneath of the leaves. If you tend to see that there is any white insects like mealybugs, or if you tend to see any white fungus, just take a cotton bud. For example, if this is a cotton bud, just take the cotton bud, dip it in hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol or vinegar, anything, and then just clean the undertones underneath of the leaves like this, and you can get rid. Now I haven't seen any attack of bugs or pests on this plant because it's doing quite well. I haven't seen any issue with any mealybugs or any kind of bugs. Now this is also because this belongs to the philodendron variety. There is another important thing, you know, just like philodendron Brazil that I did a cutting on my last video, even this tends to have nodes. You can see the node over here. Let me pick up the pot. It's slightly heavy. You can see this node over here. This is where you can do the cutting and you can multiply it. You can even do a root division, but I would always say go for a cutting like this, just beneath the node, like how we did it for our Philodendron Brazil. It tends to work out the same way. Just cut it beneath the node and then you can put it into the soil and you can multiply this variety. You can even use a moss stick or a moss pole and just attach it, and then it will start growing onto it, because this is an Philodendron variety. All the philodendrons are epiphytes, which means that they latch onto the other trees or plants or poles and they start growing upwards. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep planting.